Hey all, welcome back. Sorry, it has been a while, but I do have news that I am excited to share with you that you may have already heard. If you have been following me on my Facebook or my Instagram or my website or newsletter or wherever, you will already know that I am in fact moving to, you guessed it, South Korea later this year. That's a whole thing, a whole story. If you want to know more about that, how God led me to that, you can check that out on the new page on my website called Nikki on a Mission. Hint, hint. So that's the latest there. Kind of a big change. But life goes on, and even as I get ready for moving with all my visa prep and all of the stuff that needs to go into a big move like that, I also am in the process of working on Son of Embers, which has been really, really fun to juggle. Actually, right now I'm in between revisions, so I'm waiting to get my latest revision back. For those of you who read Heir of Light, my first book, and enjoyed it, just want to thank you guys so much for giving it love, for posting reviews, doing all the things that you did. That really, really means a lot to me. That process took a few years. I rewrote it a few times in that time, often not because anyone asked me to, just because I wanted to. With Son of Embers, I had a much shorter time frame, and that has made it trickier, but also really good because it's forced me to be a lot more ruthless with myself. Looking back on just my writing journey, on where I was a few years ago, where I am now, there are a few things that kind of stand out. And as a sort of like 2026 marker, I feel like it might be kind of helpful for me to just like reflect on that a little bit. So where are we now? What has changed? How have I grown? How have I not grown? For one thing, I think I have learned to take my writing a lot less, I don't want to say seriously, but I want to say that I have learned to embrace the process more. At the beginning, perfection was always the aim, and I was scared of the very prospect of someone saying, this is wrong, you need to fix it. I wasn't sure how that would hit me emotionally. I was really scared of how that would hit me emotionally. And so I just put a lot of strain and pressure on myself to get it as close to perfect the first time. Thankfully though, I really don't feel like I'm in that place anymore. Not because it's not hard to get feedback, but because I think I just had a healthier approach to the craft than I did when I was 15 writing a book and terrified to show it to anyone, lest they point out something that was wrong with it. But now I'm just grateful, like genuinely, the opportunity to be able to submit to someone who knows what they're doing and can pick out things that I miss and help me make it better before it hits shelves. That's huge. And I honestly get kind of excited, especially when I know that this person is really, really gifted at picking out these kinds of things that I'm maybe more inclined to forget. Another thing though that I have realized about my relationship with writing is that I am not sure what my kind of comfort genre is anymore. When I was like in my teens first starting, it was like fantasy all the way. That was all I cared about writing. That was all I was like really, really into. And while I still love the fantasy genre because I love what you can accomplish with it, especially from a spiritual standpoint, I just feel like there's so much that you can do and pack into fantasy stories that are maybe more limited in like the contemporary genre, for example. However, when it comes to what stories do I actually enjoy crafting the most, I think I enjoy more literary stuff. Did I just say that? I had to take a couple courses in creative nonfiction, in more literary fiction in my time in university. And some of the stuff that I produced during those classes was honestly shocking to me and some of my favorite work that I've ever made. And it was just so far outside of my normal realm. It was stuff that I would never have dreamed of making time for if I weren't in those classes and required to write them. And so now I'm in this place of finishing a fantasy project and really loving it and enjoying it, but thinking about the future and trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to write and how do I want to kind of proceed with the writing side of my life? I will be frank with you. We are pivoting. We are shifting into a very, very new adventure. I am going to be on the other side of the world. I'm going to be doing work that is very different from what I've been doing up to this point, and I don't know what my writing time will look like once I kind of have all of this last like revision stuff out of the way. Part of me is just really hoping and really thinking seriously about investing more time into more literary writing, especially like creative nonfiction. When you're looking at short fiction or short nonfiction, all you're writing about are moments that contain stories. And it was amazing how many moments like that I found in my own short, pretty simple, boring life when I was forced to. And so now, as I'm stepping into something that actually does look like an adventure, it's like, how many more moments am I going to find to craft into little stories, and I want to kind of explore that. Normally when I'm in between drafts for a Legends book, I'll just get these spontaneous bursts of inspiration and motivation to go and revisit an old project, like the grass is always greener mentality, I'm not sure. But I have been really kind of thinking about and reflecting on some of my old stories that I know I've wanted to go back to for a while, but there's just so much so much demolition that needs to happen there that I think that's what stops me every time. And that brings me to the other thing that I've really been reflecting on a lot as I look ahead at this year of writing what waits, but also look back on the last year, is that I do think that I have lost something in the last year that I would like to get back. I remember when I was in Korea this past fall, I was talking with a friend who also is interested in writing, but just was really feeling like he lost the spark, like he could not find the material, the creativity, the inspiration was just not there. And I was trying to encourage him and just share that, like, hey, there are certain phases of life that are like that, and like sometimes when your mind is just really occupied with other things going on, like, don't be too hard on yourself, it can circle back around. But it just kind of got me reflecting on myself, and it made me realize that I actually have been feeling the same way for a long time. I've been feeling pretty creatively depleted, just not super inspired, super motivated to make writing a priority, and that bothers me because it's been such a huge part of my life for such a long time, and I enjoy it, and I also have all this kind of storytelling energy in me that needs an outlet. I have been pondering the possibility that maybe form is the issue, that it's not just about genre like literary nonfiction versus fantasy, but that maybe there are other forms of storytelling that I am more passionate about that I would like to explore and try. I did have to take a screenwriting class in university as well, which was eye-opening and very much a stretch, not as comfortable, but also not as foreign as I thought it would be. The other thing it made me realize is my writing is no longer an escape for me. I think when I was younger writing, battling different things, especially in kind of my teens, I was dealing with a lot of like eating disorder stuff, and just life because of that was kind of all in shades of gray. And I think in some ways my writing and the fantasy worlds that I was creating were escapes for me. Like they were that, and I got a lot of my energy and identity from that because it was just so far removed from what I was dealing with. Whereas now and over the past few years, as I've not been in that place, I don't have that same drive to escape into stories. That's not the same feeling and the same motivation that it was before. I still enjoy storytelling, but for different reasons. Now that there are other things in my life that I love and that I find joy in and find purpose in, where do I fit writing into that equation? So that was like very honest, and I'm not trying to like bring you down, writers out there, but just, yeah, this is part of my writing journey, is figuring out in this new time, as I step into this new thing, where does writing fit into that? Where will writing fit into that? 2026 is a bit of a question mark, and that is okay. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, don't forget to spend some time in the clouds today.